Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Hogan, will you take roll, please?
Mayor Wilson,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott,
Here.
Trustee LeKind,
Here.
Trustee Ramos is noted absent. Trustee Romanella,
Here.
Trustee Shaning,
Here.
Trustee Stevens.
Here.
Okay, item 1 on the agenda was canceled today. Item 2, we're down to item 3 now. We have an consent agenda before us. Is there any modifications to the agenda? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Hogan?
Trustee Shaning,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson,
Yes.
Trustee LeKind,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott,
Yes.
Trustee Stevens,
Yes.
Trustee Romanella.
Yes.
That motion passes 6-0. Item 4, ordinance 4A, number 13, 2022, an ordinance approving a preliminary final planned unit development for Riviera Electrical. Ms. Flynn.
Oops. Oh, sorry. I pressed it too hard. Yes, good night, trustees and mayor. Riviera Electric is located on the east side of Beacon Light, approximately 0.4 miles north of 8th Street, and it's Lot 1 of Wolf Business Park. Wolf Business Park filing number 2, rezone sketch PUD and preliminary final plat was approved by the Board of Trustees on September 5th, 2017. Wolf Business Park filing number 2 is designated for industrial warehouse uses with outdoor storage. The comprehensive plan identifies the subject area as light industrial. Town of Monument will provide water services and Monument Sanitation District will provide wastewater services for all development within Wolf Business Park. The existing surrounding uses include Peak Equipment, Redline Pipeline, and ABC Landscaping. Riviera Electric is a 7,000 square foot building with offices and warehousing. The proposed development meets the circulation, parking, lighting, and landscape requirements of the Town of Monuments Municipal Code. Outdoor storage will be screened from view with a 6-foot tall chain link fence with slats. This to be consistent with the surrounding projects around that area has the same type of fencing. The site will be accessed off of Wolf Court, and the warehouse, office, and outdoor storage facility is projected to generate 30 total vehicle trips on an average weekday, with 16 employee vehicle trips a day, and the remaining 14 vehicle trips being generated by service and delivery trucks. Riviera Electric conforms to the Town of Monuments comprehensive plan by that encourages highway-oriented businesses. The uses proposed in Riviera Electric will utilize a shared access off of Beacon Light Road consistent with the policy goal. It would also continue to promote Monument as a business, service, and employment hub. The Planning Commission and the Town of Monument Planning Department recommends approval of Ordinance 13, 2022, preliminary final PUD plan for Riviera Electric, based on the findings that the proposed preliminary final PUD is in conformance with the review and approval criteria for a preliminary final PUD plan as outlined in section 1803-460D of the Town of Monuments Land Development Code, which is on your screen. And Chuck Crum with MVEA is here to answer any questions that you may have, and there's no presentation with the applicant.
Okay, does the board have any questions for staff or the applicant? Seeing none, this is a public hearing item. Trustee Stevens, did you have one?
I was just going to ask, we did a PUD just for one lot. Is that usually it's an area that's done with as a PUD?
There was a sketch plan that was approved, so the next step is either a preliminary or a preliminary final or a final PUD. In this case, it's a preliminary final PUD for this particular lot. And there's 2 more lots left within Wolf Business Park.
Right now, in the business park itself, is there a PUD associated with that or?
It's zone PUD. The whole business park is zone
Okay,
PUD.
so we're talking about the entire, not just this lot.
It's just this lot that it's under for tonight.
So
Lot 1 of Wolf Business Park.
so the whole area is a PUD,
Correct.
but we're approving each individual business to make sure they meet the requirements of the PUD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a public hearing item, so I will open it up to anyone from the public that would like to speak for or against this item. Mr. Anderson, do we have anyone online that would like to speak for or against this item? Okay. Seeing no one wanting to speak for or against this item, I will close the public hearing portion and bring it back to the board for further discussion or a motion.
I'll move to approve ordinance number 13, 2022, an ordinance approving a preliminary final plat, planned unit development and map amendment rezoning for Riviera Electric LLC.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Ms. Hogan, will you take roll, please?
Trustee Shaning?
Yes.
Trustee LaKind?
Yes.
Trustee Romanello?
Yes.
Trustee Stevens?
Yes.
Trustee Ramos?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes. That motion passes 7-0. That takes us to item 4B, ordinance number 14, 2022. Final planned unit development and map amendment rezoning for Quick Quack Car Wash. Ms. Flynn.
Yes. Quick Quack Car Wash is located within Monument Ridge subdivision at the corner of Baptist Road and Struthers Road, south of the Chase Bank. Monument Ridge preliminary PUD plan was approved by the Board of Trustees on January 16, 2007. The approved preliminary PUD allowed for 30-acre mixed development with a variety of retail, hotel, office, and residential land uses. Triview Metro District will provide both water and wastewater services for all development within Monument Ridge, and a will serve letter has been provided. Existing surrounding uses include the Chase Bank, Monument Ridge Apartments, and the Fairfield Inn. Quick Quack is a 3,846 square foot automatic car wash with vacuum stalls, which is an allowable use within Monument Ridge. 18 stacking spaces for a car wash, which meets the code standards. Internal sidewalk system that will connect to the main sidewalk along Struthers Road. The proposed development meets all circulation, parking, lighting, landscaping requirements of the Town of Monument's Municipal Code and the Monument Ridge Design Guidelines. The preliminary access is Struthers Road via a shared driveway located at the southern property line. The secondary emergency access is a private road along the eastern property line. A transportation memo was generated by LSC, which showed that the car wash will generate 775 total vehicle trips on an average weekday, which equates to 385 vehicles per day. The Planning Commission recommends approval of Ordinance 14, 2022 final PUD plan for Quick Quack Car Wash based on the findings that the proposed final PUD is in conformance with the review and approval criteria of a final PUD plan as outlined in Section 1803-460D, the Town of Monuments Land Development Code, with the following condition: that staff work with the applicant to place adequate and appropriate signage is placed at the bailout lane and exit lane to prevent inappropriate entry to those locations by potential customers. And in your packet, we provided you the updated plan set that had these signage located to show do not enter when it's an exit only. Town staff also approves ordinance 14, 2022. And again, here's the review criteria for a final PUD. And the applicant here is here to answer any questions that you may have.
But no
No
presentation.
presentation.
Okay.
His name is Russ Nelson with Lone Star Builders.
Questions from the board for staff or the applicant? Okay, seeing none, I will open it up to this. This is a public hearing item, so I will open it up to the public for any comments. Do we have anyone in person that would like to comment on this item? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Anderson, do we have anybody online that would like to comment on this item? Thank you. In that case, I will close the public hearing portion of this item and bring it back to the board for further discussion. Ms. Flynn, can you explain just for the public, why the long time between the preliminary or the original approval and how that's different now in our process?
Yeah, there was no timeline of when this subdivision had to be built out. For reference, there's one more lot that's available for this subdivision, and then the whole subdivision will be built out.
So when do companies have to redo applications? How long is it
There's no timeline between
on
applications.
any of them?
Once the preliminary PUD was approved,
Okay.
there was no timeline when the whole subdivision had to be built out, as
Okay.
long as it was steadily
And is
taken.
that universal in town?
Yes, for any subdivision.
Mr. Mayor, I think I understand your question, and I think you're asking about if there's a expiration date included within our code, or if
Mhm.
you don't proceed, the amount of time that it will expire. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. So within our code today, if you have a preliminary PUD and you do not submit your final PUD within 1 year, then it would expire today.
And is that for all
And
development?
If you submit 12 potential lots within your preliminary, one of them within that 1 year time frame, then that will allow that PUD to timeline out.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the board or discussion or a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 14, 2022, an ordinance approving a final planned unit development and map amendment rezoning for Quick Quack Car Wash.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Hogan?
Trustee Stevens,
Yes.
trustee LaKind,
Yes.
trustee Shaning,
Yes.
trustee Romanello,
Yes.
trustee Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes. That motion passes 7-0. That takes us to item number 5, discussion item. Well number 3, land title issue. Mr. Thornish. Is there an email copy available for Mayor Pro Tem Elliott?
I don't know if there's an email, but we're gonna put it up on the screen. She
Okay.
can see the screen or not. What you have in front of you here is a parcel of land where recently we re-drilled well number 3 in exchange for putting that well onto a parcel that the town didn't own and had to do an easement for. The parcel in question is we were gonna change one parcel for another. And we had mentioned this on the previous board meeting. And what's happening right now is after further research, we've come to the conclusion that it's much more advantageous for the town to pursue a quiet title action rather than a condemnation. We have much stronger evidence towards that, and I'll leave it to the town attorney to answer any details on that. But I just want to remind you, this is what that little strip, that what we're calling the toothpick, because it's kind of a shape like one, what it consists of. And all we're dealing with is the lower portion of that. And this is to allow the property owner that owns the parcel, it says Porchlight Properties, to access that property for future development. Rather than granting him an easement, we're just gonna, that parcel there, we'll end up giving title to once we get quiet title. And
Thank you.
now turn-
Does everybody have it? Okay, great. So this is a bit of an interesting story. So I'll try to make it brief. But this is based on an 1874 plat. And in 1874, it was platted, and for whatever reason, there was not perfect right angles for longitude and latitude. And so it was slightly off kilter. And because it was slightly off kilter, it created this little triangle piece. And this triangle piece is larger than that. It goes up to Lavalette Park. So it goes from, that's the very bottom of the triangle. And then and the triangle gets slightly longer and longer. And it goes, if it goes north, you'll run into the water treatment plant. And then just north of that is a service station. I think it's a tire store. And then just north of that is another building. And then just north of that is I'm saying it correctly, Lavalette Park. And so this area was kind of unaccounted for since 1874. And there's no record owner. However, the town has acted as owner, as far as my research has indicated, as far back as 1960. And so instead of, as you recall, the board gave permission to acquire this property to make good on our deal. And instead of a condemnation action, the facts favor an adverse possession action. An adverse possession action is when basically you're able to lay claim to a real property by acting as owner for the statutory period of, I believe it's 18 years, open, notorious, etc., improving the land, acting as if it's your own. And the town has acted as if it's the owner of this property for quite some time. The most prominent examples are in I think, please correct my dates. I don't have my notes exactly in front of me, but the town put a water line where Beacon Light Road presently is. So the 2nd Street down to Santa Fe, that was not a road all the while, but way back in the 70s, the water line was placed there. And then in 2000, the town, 2001 thereabouts, the town built Beacon Light Road, or extended it from that period on, from 2nd Street down to the Santa Fe, down to Santa Fe. And then that left a smaller portion of the triangle. And then throughout that period of time, the town has also maintained 2 different wells there. Well number 9 and well number 3, drilled them, and then there's significant subsurface structures underneath waterworks, and then there are structures on top, venting, things like that, water mains, things like that. And then also, in addition, one other factor that the town has acted like the owner is that it's maintained the property, mowed it and such. And so we're making, based on all of those facts, we're making an adverse title claim as opposed to a condemnation claim. So instead of condemning that property interest that's necessary, we're basically saying we already own it. And the other piece, the reason for the change is as well because the whole purpose of this acquisition is to transfer title, and condemnation is generally not available if you're going to transfer title. It has to be this ultimate site of the public improvement, whether it's a water tank or the road or whatever. And that's pretty much why. So this is an update to just essentially let you know we're still going to acquire the property. We're just a slight change in strategy.
Okay, so this is informational, not, you don't need direction on anything.
Nope, not.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure you're aware.
Okay. Does the board have any questions on this?
Is this a confrontational issue?
No, in fact, we can't find anybody besides the town who claims it. Okay. So we have a word for it, orphan parcel. There is no record owner since 1874.
So you
That's
couldn't find anybody
bizarre.
from 1874 to.
No, nobody. So so yeah,
No
basically
grandkids.
nothing. Yeah, basically we couldn't find anybody. So the town has acted as owner, but in order to transfer title, we need a piece of paper that says we're the owner, which we don't have because it was just never accounted for.
Thanks for the update.
It's kind of common, actually, orphan parcel.
I'm kind of thinking that was my property.
There you go. Always a problem, and you know.
Great grand.
Yeah. It was his favorite piece of property.
He gave it to you. He's gonna put them all there.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tharnish. Thank you, Mr. Rivera. This takes us to the public comment portion of our meeting. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make comment here in person? Ms. Chapman.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, and fellow citizens. Thank you for letting us speak this evening. Two things we wanted to just mention. First off, I wanted to say thanks for the town's continued support of Tri-Lakes Cares. We recently received our allotment for this year and wanted to just give you an update that some of those funds are going to be used for some client service programs to help where some funding areas did not come through, that we needed some additional support to help our clients. Also to have help with some staff training and staff and volunteer appreciation, as we always want to make sure that we're keeping the gears turning in our organization and saying thanks to those that help us accomplish that. So we wanted to say thank you for helping us to continue the great work that we do in the community to support the citizens who find themselves struggling in a time of need. The other thing that we wanted to mention is coming up in the month of September, it is known as Hunger Action Month, and it's a little bit focused on raising awareness around hunger. Although hunger happens year-round, a lot of people think about it during the November and December timeframe and holidays, but we're raising awareness about it happening year-round. So there's two requests that we have to see if the town would consider. The first request is wanting to know, hunger awareness is color is orange, and wanting to know if there might be a way for the tree lights that are coming down 2nd Street to be orange at some point or throughout the month of September, as that is the month that we're focused on hunger awareness. And then I have with me our Director of Development, Stephanie Force, and she would speak to you about the other requests that we have for consideration.
Sorry. We're also asking if anyone would like to support by purchasing a T-shirt. It is orange. It shows Hunger Action Awareness on it with our Tri-Lakes logo. We just request that if you do purchase, all the proceeds would go back to Tri-Lakes and that you would wear it on September 23rd, which is Hunger Action Awareness Day, just to show your awareness into the community and supporting Tri-Lakes as well.
We have several different business partners in the community that are purchasing the T-shirts for their employees to wear on the Fridays throughout the month of September or all throughout the week, and some preferably on Hunger Action Day, which is the 23rd. So if you wanted to join in, or if that's something the town wanted to look at purchasing some of the T-shirts for their employees, we'd love to have the employees of these different businesses take some pictures all wearing their shirts, throw that on our social media, on your social media, and help raise awareness for hunger action through the month of September. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else that would like to make public comment that's here in person? Okay. Mr. Anderson, do we have anybody online who would like to make public comment? Okay. Then we will move on to item number 7, board authorization items. Town staff does not have any authorization items for us. Does anyone from the board have any authorization items?
I do.
Okay.
I would like to talk about a workshop we approved at the last meeting. It happened towards the end. And there were 2 presentations sort of in the last 10 minutes that were lumped together for us to, not lumped together, but we voted on them together to be placed on a future agenda. And the presentation I'm specifically speaking about is the HBA's presentation titled the missing middle. I was able to pull up that presentation as well as speak to a board member in another city who watched the presentation. And while I appreciate differing viewpoints, I don't feel like it is in the town's best interest to watch an hour to an hour and a half presentation on affordable housing and subsidized housing. I think we've learned pretty quickly that that's not something that our residents are, for the most part, interested in. And I, for one, don't see the benefit of giving any time to that issue. I think we've got a lot of issues that we don't give enough time to, and I don't think that that's one that we should have a workshop on. So I just wanted to put it out to the board because I realized that not everybody knew what the presentation was on at the time.
Okay. Other comments from the board? Would you like to make a motion for that item?
Like I said, I would make a motion to not place that item on an agenda and not have a workshop on that item.
Do we have it scheduled, Mr. Foreman or Ms. Hogan?
It is scheduled currently for September 6th, before the meeting. It's an hour-long workshop.
So this would be removing the missing middle?
Removing that particular, was that the only one on September 6th?
Yeah, that was the only one on September
Confused.
6th.
Okay.
And the other presentation that we had voted or that we had that's going on, what date was the other presentation?
If memory serves me correctly, the two items that you talked about last meeting were the workshop for the missing middle and something about use variance, correct?
Isn't that the 19th?
I believe we put that on the 19th. I
So
can double
I'm
check.
just making a motion. So I would just be making a motion to remove that so as to not have an hour-long workshop on affordable housing at our next regular meeting.
I second.
We have a motion, a second. Ms. Hogan, will you take roll?
Trustee Ramos?
Yes.
Trustee LeKind?
No.
Trustee Shaney?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Stevens?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott?
Yes.
Trustee Romanello?
Yes.
That motion passes 6-1. Are there any other board authorization items?
Over 18 years, $12,000 over 18 years, not $12,000 a year, but $12,000 over 18 years. Our police department feels like that this isn't a good use of that money and that the group that has given this money out would like to retain this money and have the town of Monument possibly be a part of a committee. We have that option. And so at this time, the police department would like the town manager to have the ability to opt out of that agreement with this group so that we don't retain the $12,000 over 18 years. We give it back to the group and we can be part of the group that spends the money.
Okay, that sounds good.
It was because the previous direction from the board through resolution was to do everything we could to get the money. So we want basically a head nod that says you can give it back.
When you say get the money, is that money coming out of our budget or is that money granted to us from an outside entity?
It was, and I don't recall exactly. So it was money from a class action settlement with opioid manufacturers that Colorado was a part of. And then the resolution to which I'm referring was a resolution which you had the town join as a plaintiff's class. So that, and then we also agreed to work with El Paso County to join a regional cooperative. And that resolution gave further guidance to town staff to basically do whatever we could to continue to participate in this with the purpose being obtaining the proceeds from that lawsuit. As it turns out, that lawsuit results in only $12,000 total. And as I understand it, the town PD feels like that's not enough money to be worth further investment of resources. And so we're asking for permission to basically bow out at this point, contrary to the previous direction.
So it's settlement money.
So how do we, I'm for this. What is the official?
We just need to give, we just all need to agree.
Give me direction.
So I believe
That's all I
the
need.
board is in agreement.
I'm in agreement.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll make that
Mr.
happen. Thank you.
Mr. Foreman, you have your direction. Any other board authorization item? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 8, Board of Trustee comments. Do we have any board members that would like to make comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 9. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
This is the best meeting ever.
We are adjourned.